You guys are for a special treat today. So Facebook is live. We're waiting on that YouTube again. I wonder if it'll ever connect before Facebook. All right, so we are live on YouTube. Hi guys, this is Donnie Rouse, and today you guys are in for a special treat. So I'm going to kind of do a special or an introduction twice. And this is going to be just a live recording of my podcast. So I'm recording it on a separate audio file, but I figured I would broadcast it because I felt inspired to, and why the hell not? So I'm going to do the intro now, and if you're watching it, just enjoy the show. Hi guys, my name is Donnie Rouse, and you're listening to the podcast One Life, Flexing Your Mind Muscle. I was listening to a podcast with Joe Dispenza, and in that podcast, he was talking about how emotions get stored into our mind. So all these things that happen throughout our life, and even these repetitive thoughts that we have in our day, they get stored. And as we experience these things more often, more frequently, they literally get hardwired in our brains to the point where every day we're waking up, we're living the same emotions of the past, and we're not even looking towards the future. And when you think about why this is, the reason it is so is because it's a protection mechanism, right? Our minds are always looking out. They're very prehistoric. So our minds are always looking out to say, okay, well, what is it that's going to harm me? Let me stay away from that. And as a result of it, that's what kept us alive and thriving after all this time. But the downfall to this mechanism is that it prevents us from doing little things to move our life forward, such as maybe starting a business or taking that trip that you've always wanted to take. And the reason being because there's uncertainty. In order to stay safe, the mind says, okay, well, I'm good here. I know I'm safe. Let me stay. So it's good when when there's a T-Rex outside of your cave, but it's not good when you're trying to experience the most out of your life, when you're trying to build something of beauty. I was on the treadmill today, and if you're in the United States, there's this whole political thing going on. So needless to say, that was grabbing a lot of my attention. And I am one that prides myself on not listening to that and keeping my mind clear, but I kind of got sucked in. And as I was like, you know what? Let me just get out of the house. Let me go to the gym. Let me move my body. Let me do something different so I can get out of this mood. While I was at the gym, I put on a podcast, and I was listening to it, and it was a podcast where Joe Dispenza was being interviewed. I can't remember the name of the podcast. And he started talking about this. He started talking about the emotion, how they get stored in the mind. And what really is happening is that these emotions, they become into the body. And as a result, the body is what leads these emotions. These emotions are stored within us. And as a result of that, they become like the path of least resistance. So we just kind of we cycle through these emotions when we need to change. Tony Robbins coined it the figure 8. So we go through these emotions, anger, whatever it may be, and then we literally just cycle through those because that is what our body is used to. But he said something that caught my attention, and I'd never put it into the context of my life until I had heard it on this podcast. He says something happens. He said, meditation is the art of focusing on one thing, on controlling the mind. And he says by doing that, what you're doing is the mind's going to wander, but what you're saying is, nope, I'm in control. I'm going to bring it right back here. And you silence the mind. And if you do that long enough, the mind, in this case, you said that because all this stuff is stored in the body, it's the body that is creating all this craziness. So you make it you become the master to it. So I thought about that. And I was like, okay, well, it's funny enough, since I've been going to the gym, like this last, say, 5 months, I've been going to the gym. I haven't been giving my all. When I recall to my days of doing physique competition, I was remembering, I was, man, I used to freaking crush it. I used to go to the gym, however many sets, repetitions I had to do, I made sure that I got them done. And I thought about that in how it relates to controlling the mind. And how I was just letting my mind go around like a crazy monkey. So when I was doing these sets, I would be on the bench And there would be this temptation to quit, to just stop mid-set and not fully complete. So say on that particular day, the reps in my set were 15. A lot of the time I would want to give up at 10. And in the past, I would have. But when I was doing this competition, I said, you know what? No, I'm continuing until I get through to that 15, no matter what. If I have to take a 5-second rest, I'm going to rest 5 seconds, but I'm going to make sure that I rep out every single one. Here's what happened. As I was on the bench, as I was doing this, my mind is freaking going crazy. It's like, no, stop, it hurts. It's going through all these things. And then it was at that breaking point, that 10th rep, where I said, I'm continuing anyways. And all of a sudden, pop, the mind quieted. And all of a sudden, I was in control. And that was just one thing. So as I'm doing this today on the treadmill, I'm recalling this experience. And I'm like, oh my God. So that is similar. It's just like a meditation. What we're doing is we're training ourselves to be the master in our minds and our bodies to respond to us. So with this realization, I was like, you know what? One of the things that I'd been skipping out a lot was doing ab work, right? I mean, I'll do like 20 and they kind of really start to burn. And then it's like, okay, well, you know what? That's good. I did a little bit and I would just kind of stop. I would do a few exercises, 3 sets per exercise, maybe 20 repetitions each. And that was it. With this new understanding, I went to the mat. And this time I said, all right, well, you know what? I'm not going to say that I don't know what my maximum repetition is. But what I'm going to say is that I'm not going to give up. I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to aim for 30. I'm going to go there. And every set thereafter, I'm going to keep increasing it by 10. So I was doing, I'm trying to remember which one I was doing. But I was doing an exercise. And as I was doing this exercise, I noticed 30 came easy. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Normally I would kind of fizzle out at 20. And I said, okay, let me add 10 more. So I did 40. 40 came and I just kept focusing on my mind, 40, 40, 40. Even when my body was really sore, and even if I could only lift my my abdominals off the ground for if I was doing, say, a full sit-up and I could only get an inch off the ground, I made sure I did that inch. And I did 40. Then I said, okay, 10 more. Let me do 50. Then I went to the next exercise. I was going, well, you know what? Let's just play around here. I was like, let's go 60. All right, let's go 70. And then pretty soon I did. Then the last one was 90, and then I ended up doing another. I ended up doing another 20. So I did 100 reps in this set, and I was like, holy crap! All this time, my mind was getting in the way of me finishing my workout, finishing some work that I had to do for my coffee company, finishing the stuff that I had to do for One Life. But if I'd only just kind of kept steadfast and I just kept focusing on it and I pushed through and told the mind that, listen, I'm the one who gets to decide. You don't get to decide. I get to decide. I would get to tame it. So it was a big realization for me because there's so many different areas in our lives where we just kind of let our minds go wild as a result. And then it holds us back from the very thing that we want. And what it ultimately comes down with is more self-love as a result of that. Because as a result of not associating with the mind, as a result of becoming our own boss, we start to grow in our self-worth. So the work that has to be done, is it hard? Yes. Is it worth it? Definitely. So again, this could be, some people might not like meditation. It doesn't have to be meditation. It could be working out. It could be anything, something that's going to push where your mind is telling you to stop. Your mind's telling you not to go any further, but you do it anyways. It could even be approaching someone for a conversation. Like say you have social anxiety and you don't like approaching people and starting conversation. But getting that muscle to quiet the mind, said, listen, I am the boss. I'm going to decide what happens here. And you act despite the fear. You act despite the restriction that your body is trying to put on you. I'm not saying to go out there. I'm not saying to go push yourself beyond your limit. and to hurt yourself, because there's a big difference. There's a big difference when you're taxing your body, and between you're taxing your body and what your mind is telling you, right? You know, the mind's always there. The mind's loud, very, very loud sometimes. The body will let you know through like a little pain, or little feelings that, you know what, you shouldn't really go any further than this. When you notice that, your assignment for this podcast is just to become aware of whatever it is you're doing. Remember your intention, silence the mind. And when you have that endpoint set, like I did for my repetitions for my exercises, when you have that end goal set, you don't stop until you've completed it. And that is how you start to train your mind. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As you can see, it's not scripted at all. Whenever I do these episodes, I get inspired and I just kind of go online. I plug my computer in and I just kind of let it all come out and flow. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, I'd hope you consider listening to the One Life Podcast with Donnie Rouse. Again, One Life Podcast with Donnie Rouse, DonnyRaus. You can give me a like on Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, any of those podcasting networks. And if you want to send me a message, if you enjoyed the podcast or if you enjoyed this live stream that I'm doing, send me a message via Instagram at Donny, Donny, Rouse, Raus. Again, Donnyraus. That is all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this spontaneous episode. God bless, and I will see you next week.